Hi, this is Julie at Love's Beginning with a message called Find Your Willingness for the Undoing. We invite you today to observe and feel the force that encourages you to view everything and everyone as separate and as having unequal value. Notice how ego tells you that it will sort everything out, make sense of everything, and tell you what to do. The voice of ego must be critical, and it must see threat in order to operate through you. You are host, and ego is parasite. Ego can only run when you allow it. When you begin to see that ego makes no sense at all and can only deliver insane messages that project an insane world, you stop listening to its messages. In this way, ego loses you as a host. Because there is only one of you and all minds are connected, ego then loses everyone as a host. Sanity seems to spread like a very loving virus, and you all wake up together. Just observe and feel today. When tension and stress come up, that right there is the temptation to see everything as separate and to see separate entities as vulnerable and under threat. Notice how believing that everything is separate leads to fluctuating emotions as you react to what you believe you are seeing. See that instability. Behind that instability, always, is joy. Joy is always waiting for you. If you look through that instability, through the perceived threat or imbalance, straight through to what is whole, to the reality of you, there is that joy. That joy is a rejoicing in everything that is real. Everything that is real is always beyond ego's story-making, always perfectly untouched by ego's back and forth, always pristine. When you learn to abide here, you give permission for your world to reflect clarity and joy back to you. You give permission to each character. You allow them to reflect clarity and joy back to you because you know that their joy is your own. We said, when you learn to abide here. More accurately, when you remember that this joy is the address you have never left while you were dreaming of conflict and disharmony, you allow yourself to return to it, to experience it. We wish to remind you that you think first. You receive thoughts, you believe some of those thoughts, and then you view a movie, in which you are one character among many, that supports further belief in those thoughts. Whenever you believe that you are subject to a world, return to thought. Thought is the level at which you made what you are experiencing now. You make experience through belief. When you believe, you say, yes, please, I want to experience this in a future. This is important to see. When you can see that each one of you, as an innocent aspect of the only one there is, makes your experience, you can see all others as very powerful. When you can see all others as equally powerful, you can see yourself that way. It is not possible to actually be subject to aspects of a world, but it is possible to give yourself a believable experience that this is so. This pushing apart force that we encourage you to notice today is your invention. You didn't invent anything real, however. The only thing you could ever invent is fantasy. The pushing apart force seems real, but it is actually nothing. What seems real is insubstantial. This is what we invite you to see. What is real is eternal and can never be touched or damaged by anything in your fantasy. Any blip of stress or tension that you feel today is your indicator that you are immersed in fantasy. When you ask to be assisted back to the perspective of reality, there is always so much help for you dropping your belief in fantasy. When you are willing to allow your perception to be corrected, time and space can be arranged for you to assist you in that correction. When you are engaged in wanting time and space to take specific forms, you are not yet open enough to allow time and space to be arranged for you. We ask that you find your willingness to be served, to have everything you need brought to you. If you can drop any insistence on the specific, you can allow yourself to be served by what you truly are. When you allow this, you are able to serve others in the same way. There is something far more powerful than the pushing apart force of ego. Indeed, the pushing apart force depends on the energy of the only power there truly is in order to keep running. Ego has no power of its own. It depends on your belief to run. Find your willingness to have your mistakes undone today. The invention of ego as a hiding place from the harmony you are was never a wrongdoing. All of the happenings that seem to take place under the spell of ego are not separate and individual wrongdoings. Becoming immersed in the perception ego offers was only ever a mistake, and mistakes can be undone. We ask you to notice the heaviness of the pushing apart force of ego today, and we invite you to find your willingness to allow all mistakes of perception to be undone. We rejoice in you as you truly are, always, and it is our honor to assist you back into seeing you and all as you have always been. Thanks for listening.